Hey everybody, welcome back to another Gravity Ace Dev stream. Happy Saturday, happy weekend. Welcome back. Just getting some stuff in order here. Do 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 do. Posted on Twitter. Good old Twitter. All right, what do we have here? Got the 3D. Yep. All right, let's see how this looks. I gotta do some test playing. Hilarious. Normally I can't control these things at all, and today I'm destroying them just willy-nilly. Let's go to the menu. I think it's this one. Playtesting this level because I think there's a bug here somewhere. Well, bug. There's a design problem that happened because I changed the behavior of some of the enemies. Oh! Ouch. Do 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 do. That's the design problem right there. That laser should not be coming through. That laser should not be coming through there. I wonder if I can solve that by doing... I mean, that kind of does it. Let's try that. It changes that challenge a little bit, but it's still workable. do one playthrough here. Ba 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 ba. That makes that section with the lasers a little bit tricky, but I think it's okay. That works okay. So close. Alright, let's try... This one too might have a problem. Holy moly. Something seems to be pushing me. Feels like something was pushing me right there. Holy crap, what's going on? It feels so weird. Yeah, there's something there. All these weird bugs in the game. Yeah, there's something freaky going on there. I don't see what I'm hitting, though. There's like nothing there. I know. Let me turn on collision shapes. And see if that helps. This is gonna look strange. What the heck is this? Oh, it's all the coins. Okay. Give myself some gas. Turn off that alarm. What's happening right there? I've somehow broken my game. I can't shoot that thing. Lord. What's happening? Okay, then I make it through there. Shoot that. Shoot me. Collect all that. Getting ping-ponged around here, and I don't know by what. Let me try a different level. Let's see if this isn't happening on every level. Because if it is, I seriously screwed something up. It's almost like I'm being shot by something invisible. Could it be these plants and rocks? Yeah, I don't think so. Let me see. Maybe I did something with the turrets, maybe. Yeah, colliders are on. Hey, Verbal. I think I screwed these up somehow. I'm not sure when or how. No. See, something's pushing the ship up like that. But I don't know what it is. It's got to be something I just added, right? Could it be... Oh boy, I just don't know what is happening here. I'm going to turn this off. The ship won't fly now. What is doing that? was weird. Saw a big old collider there for a second. Maybe... let's turn those off and see what happens. Let's turn off the debug shapes because those aren't helping me anyway. It's something else. It's not a collision shape, I don't think. I hate bugs. Doing it right there. What the heck? It thinks there's a ship there or a refuel station. It's going down. It's not there now. Something seriously posed. It's like the physics is out of alignment with the world. And yet that worked fine. And that works fine. That seems pretty accurate. Right, I can do all this stuff. There's a fuel station there? Alright, got all the gas out of something. But this thing still has all of its fuel. Well, this isn't what I plan to be doing today. And no bugs, no errors, nothing. What have I changed recently? Is that right? Okay. Well, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something along those lines, I think. But first, I've got all this stuff in the working tree, so I'm gonna commit this stuff, and then ugh. All right. Let me show you something what I did. My water blobs in the game were not looking great. I mean, I had just a flat shaded area of blue here, and you know, it was functional. It worked fine, but it didn't look great. So what I decided to do was pull out the old 3D again. So this is Blender, and this is a pretty simple. It's just a sphere, you know. It's a real 3D sphere, right? And I've got it on a camera, and I'm exporting 128 by 128 square pixel sprite or images from this. Very simple shader. It's a 2-color sprite, right? So I can adjust the way it looks a little bit, and then I have this animation on it, which is basically just two wave modifiers. And these wave modifiers cycle, and so when I animate over the 12 frames, they do their thing. And then I exported it into here, did a bit of cleanup, especially around the edges, making things kind of look a little, you know, a little tighter, a little nicer. Especially around these highlights, there's a lot of extra colors and dithering and stuff going on. So I what do you call it? Clean this up, and then brought it into the game. And in the game, a bunch of stuff happens to it. But I mean, there's a shader, there's a particle system that gets added on here. But it ends up looking much more 3D than it did. It looks much more rounded and cool, and I think the animation is better as well than what I'd drawn by hand. There you go. So, water blobs. And then when you shoot them, I added sound effects too. Right? You get the splashes. Right? When you shoot them or when you dunk something in them. Sploosh. Or when you fly in and then fly out the other side. And they jiggle. They have a little jiggle to them when they get hit. Hey, Gartleon, thank you. You think the highlights are too strong? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. So, yeah, so there's a bunch of different things going on in here. I'll show you the effect breakdown in a sec, but this is kind of... I've been playing around with this for a couple of days, and I like it. I think it's very close to being So in here, there's the sprite itself, right, with the 12 frames of animation doing its thing. There's a shader, and what the shader does is it basically blurs the things behind it, so it gets the background texture and gets it at a level of detail that's a little bit blurry. Then gets the texture of the blob itself. It combines them with a little bit of alpha transparency, but it only does it if the pixel isn't fully white. So it leaves these bright white highlights unchanged. That way they look like they're on top of things, and And then there's this particle system, which is all this stuff going on in here, which are basically, these are just copies. These are just animated particle copies of the full size thing with a little hue variation. There's a color ramp to make them fade in and out. There's a little hue variation. They have an animated texture. There's a scale. You can see them kind of growing in and then doing a bouncy thing. That's this curve. They have an emission shape, so they're not all coming from the same spot. They have a little bit of velocity. They have a little bit of spin to them. And that's the particle system. Right? So you've got the sprite and the particle system working together. Then in the code, there's a tween here that does a thing where, does a couple of things. So first, it speeds up the animation. So the animation is, whenever it gets hit, it speeds up the animation to 5 times normal speed for 3 seconds. And it ramps that speed down from 5 to 1. So it's going 5x and then down to 1x, which is normal speed, over 3 seconds using this this easing function, which is the circular function, which basically means it goes kind of like, I think it goes kind of like that, right? Like imagine a quarter circle. It's doing that. And then it does scale from 0.95 or 95% scale all the way up to 100% scale, so back up to normal size, over half second, using this elastic function, which makes it kind of go boing, 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 right? And then after a 0.2 delay, it does the same scale again, but a slightly longer one, right? And all those things combined give it that jiggle, that bounce when it gets hit. All right, those 3 tweens combined give it that jiggle. So you can see the animation speeding up and the scale, it kind of bounces. Right? That's this stuff. Then it plays the sound effect, and the sound effect is it changes the pitch to a random number between 0 and 1. This is like a percentage, and then adds 40 or 0.4 to it. So the pitch will go from 0.4 normal to 1.4. And so you end up with a nice variation of different pitches from the same sound effect. So some of these will be, some of them will be higher pitched, some will be lower pitched. It's a little bit of nice variation. The splash itself orients itself to the edge of the sphere, the edge of the blob, and rotates itself so it looks, it's in the correct orientation of the normal at that point. And I didn't change anything else with the bullets. So the bullets are the same. The ship is the same. Just all this stuff is on the this guy itself. So if we turned off, like, let's see. Oops. If we turned off like the particles, right? It looks okay. It's just, I don't know. It feels like it's missing something to me. I want to see more stuff inside it and make it look more transparent. I mean, you can see the background through it, but maybe put this one here. You can see the background through it, but I just like seeing a little bit more to it with these particles, right? I like them. And then you can see the effect these have on it. So like if you don't do those, right, and then I shoot one of these guys, you see the jiggle, the speeding up of the animation happens. Right, and then it ramps back down to normal speed. If I turn on this quick one, this just kind of makes it real quick. Happens in half a second. It's pretty subtle, but I can see it, right? You can see it kind of like react a little bit. And then you add this longer one. And those things just all combine together to give it more wiggle. If I turn this first one off, you can kind of see those latter ones a little better. See what they do. Looks kind of unnatural actually by itself. But when they're all combined together, you get this nice effect. And then combined with these splashes. Oh, the splashes we should look at as well, because the splashes aren't super simple. They're pretty simple, but they're not super simple. There's 3 animated sprites, right, just overlaid on top of each other. It's the same one. So you got this guy, and then this one just rotated slightly, and this one rotated slightly, right? So they're all here, and they're all instantiated at the same time. They're all playing the same animation, but they're each randomized, so they all start on a different frame, right? They all start on a slightly different frame, and they all play at a slightly different speed. The base speed is 1, so these will play from 0.5 or half speed all the way up to 1.5, which is 1.5 times speed. So they play at different speeds, they start on different frames, they're going in different directions, and you get this chaotic like intermixing. No 2 splashes look exactly the same. Each one of them has a signal that goes to the same on animation finished function. And since I have 3 sprites here, this is just counting up to 3. So once all 3 have finished, and it keeps count, then it destroys the splashes. Pretty simple. Yeah, pretty simple. So all that together to make jiggly water thingies. Jiggly water hazards for my ice levels. And I don't know if you guys can hear the sound effect, but that was another layer that got added on. Sploosh. I think it all adds up to be fairly convincing. I mean, I don't think, at least there's no confusion over what it is, right? It's some kind of liquid. It's kind of just fun to do. Sploosh. Nice. Yeah, so it was a lot of work. I think it was worth it. And it turned out to be a little simpler than I thought. I'd originally thought maybe I'll add some bones in here to do this jiggle, but just animating it in Blender and turning it into pixel art was fine. And then speeding up the animation when you hit it and doing a little bit of scaling was enough. That makes it look convincing enough. And then with the splash on top and the sound effect, yeah. So it's mostly just art and trickery. Art and trickery, and not so much programming and coding wizardry, which I like. I think that's simpler. Yeah, those things are hard to fly through. That's the point, John. That's the point. That's why you made him that way. should catch this guy. Oh yeah, hold on to that for me. Whoa, what is happening? Oh, it's because I turned off... It's because I turned off all this stuff on the ship, isn't it? Yep. Hey, Fish Toad. The beginning was mostly me finding new bugs in the game and getting annoyed. You didn't miss very much, except for me being frustrated and annoyed. Yeah, I love showing you guys my trickery. It's all illusions, right? All the way down. There we go. One thing I would like to do, but I'm not going to do, is, so you notice, as soon as you hit, right, as soon as you hit, you see the splash. It's because the collision area for the ship, as soon as it overlaps the collision area for the blob, you get the splash. But then when you're exiting, you don't get the splash until the collision area of the ship completely exits the collision area of the blob. Which is okay. But I would like to see like a bulge appear here, and then it happens, you know? But that would be so much more complicated for minimal return. Like the result would be so marginally different that I don't think anybody would care. I mean, it might be cool, but it's not going to make any difference in anything. And nobody's going to notice it anyway, because you're going to be trying to avoid these things, really. I don't know. Maybe it'll make a difference, because at some point players are going to play this and they'll be like, look, I'm mostly out. How come I'm not out? How come I'm not out? Oh, now I'm out. Maybe it'll annoy players. I don't know. My thinking is that it's not going to matter, so I'm not going to spend any time on it until I hear different. It's good enough. That's kind of cool. Look, I can do it like that, right? I can take this thing. Put it like that. Experimenting a little bit with like level designs for this stuff, right? Do something like that. they've got their reactor core completely surrounded in all this dense, heavy fluid. Oh no, we're burning up so much fuel getting out of here. Yeah, that'll be fun. I think that'll be fun. Get down there, get down there. There we go. Hey, it's even kind of disguised. It's like hard to see. Like, where is that reactor core? It says it's right here. Oh, there it is. Like, it's kind of hidden back there. All right. I think I'm happy with that. Yeah, like popping out midway would be good, I think. But again, like, I think the coding on that is going to be tricky. Because right now I can just say, I can just overlap, where I can do a physics check, right? When the ship completely separates from the area of the blob, then it happens. There's no physics check that says when it's halfway touching. So I'm not sure how I would code that. And you can go out in lots of different orientations too. You could be coming out backwards or sideways. It's almost like I would need another physics object that's half the size of the ship, and I rotate it dynamically depending on the direction that the ship is going, not its orientation, but the direction it's going, and use that for the blob check. But yeah, second area is smaller. I don't know. It's just, I'm not going to do that. That's going to be a lot of work, and we'll see. We'll see. So I'm going to do some commits here. I'm going to commit this stuff. Yep. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and the sploosh, and the splash, and the water blob. And what is this? I'm going to undo you. And then, what level is this? Yep. Wicked Wells. No, I don't want to change that one. What one is this? Laser Chaser, no. Asteroid Base. Oh, Wicked Wells was the one I wanted to change. Dang it. All right. It's okay. I'll do it better the second time. Updated art and animation on the water blobs and splooshes with final art. I say final in quotes because nothing's actually final. Nothing's actually final, but it's final enough. Doot, 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 doot. Splooshes. All right, I'm going to leave it here in review, though, for just a couple more days. Just make sure I don't want to do any more final tweaks to it. I think it's done, but let's do this one. So one thing I've been wanting to do, and this got brought up in my last stream, was that every time I go to test one of these levels, I have to start the game, hit enter, go to editor, open, okay, and then play. I want a button that does that. So that button is going to, well, what is it going to do? It's just got to load this level. It's going to load this level. Let me get that level first. It's this guy. Maybe I'll make it part of the splash scene. Not the water splash, but this guy, this scene. And I'll say if well, then we'll game.transition. I think that's right. No. I think that'll do it. It's not doing it. Okay, that's what I want. Is that right? That must be right. Oh, I missed it. Hey! So when I start, right click, playing my test level. Okay, so that is faster. That's nice. And I think I want to do this. This has to be there has to be a check here to make sure I'm running in debug mode. It's not editor hint. I can never remember what these things are called. They're feature tags. And there's a feature tag to tell you if you're running in the editor. OS has feature editor. Okay. So now this right click in the splash only works if you're running it from the editor. If you're not running it from the editor, then it won't work. See? Nothing happens. So if you're running it from the editor and you right click on the splash screen, it goes right to my test level. Beautiful. Okay, that'll speed things up. Let's commit that. It keeps wanting to revert that. You know, that brings me to another point. Maybe I want to try that new version. Because this bug where it's not reloading scene changes made outside of the scene, that's a bug it's fixed in the newest release candidate, the 3.3. Added right click to go directly to test level. All right. Now that bug. Let's try and find that bug. Let's do it this way. I'm going to go back to here. Let's go back to here. So we'll branch from here into test bug hunt. Okay. And then we will check out that branch. And then we will load the game. That's fine. Yeah, couldn't find it because it doesn't exist in this branch, buddy. Oops, that's not what I want to do. And let's play Asteroid Base and see if we get that weird behavior. So the good news is it doesn't look like I am. So whatever I did, it's in the last few commits. Right, not hitting the phantom fuel station. Not getting pushed around here. All right. Let's go ahead to, let's see, let's switch back to, what commit is this? 130. So let's go back to main. Let's remove that branch, go back to main. How come I'm not on main? So this commit was working fine. And then what do? Binary search, right? So you go halfway. So we're going to go like here. Let's go to the first commit on 321. Bug hunt. Check that out. Check that out. And then let's go back in. This is why source control is a godsend, right? Like, I couldn't do this if we didn't have source control. It'd be a nightmare. This way, at least it's a manageable nightmare. Like I'm literally just playing older versions of the game until I can find the commit that broke it. Ah, it's here. Yeah, the bug is here. The bug is here. I found the bug. Well, I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere between 321 and 130. I mean, it might be right there. But let's delete that. What one could it be? It's probably not this. Ooh, maybe it is. I mean, I did a bunch of stuff in here. Let's just go back to the middle. So first commit on 220. Here we go again. There it is. Hitting phantom stuff, getting pushed around. All right. It's still there. Go back to main. That was the first commit on 220. Let's try this one. Branch, bug hunt. I'm just going to keep going backwards until I find it. This is like the boring part of game development that nobody tells you about. I'm going to turn that off. Okay, that was smooth. And I'm not getting it here. Alright, so the bug happened after January 30th. It was after, yeah, January 30th. But it was before February 20th. It was one of these commits. Let's go right here, 214. Let's go right in the middle. It's nice at least that this bug is reliable. Can you imagine if it was an intermittent bug that only happened sometimes? Alright, it's not here. That's good. So it's newer than this bug. Newer than 2.14. Switch back to main. Oops. Oh no, what did I just do? Okay. I clicked too fast. So it's newer than 2.14. Right, it's newer than this one, but it's possibly before this one. Right, it's somewhere, it's one of these. Let's just go through them one at a time. Delete you. Yo, Javi. I'm bisecting to find a bug. I'm trying to find the commit that introduced a game-breaking bug. Because everybody knows bisecting Git repos is the new hotness on Twitch. Oh, there's the bug. It's right there. It's right there. I found it. I found the commit. So let me switch back to main. Right? This one didn't have the bug, and this one did have the bug. So what did I do? Oh, you know, nothing major. Jeez Louise. So, all right. Gigantic commits, kids. Try to avoid them. Goodness gracious. All right. Well, I don't think it could be this. This is not causing the bug. It can't be those. Could it be this? I don't see how. I don't see how it could be that. And I don't see how it could be this. And I don't think anything changed in it. Yeah, I mean, this is just visual. It couldn't be that. It's not going to be that. I don't think it's going to be those. Could be this. Ah, see, I am doing some changes here in how I'm loading things. What is this changing? This is the draw function. Input. Oh. Maybe. So I changed the way the editor works in terms of its input processing. And if the input processing for the editor is interfering with the input processing for the game, that could be the problem. It's possible. So the way to test that will be to just turn off input handling in the editor temporarily and see if the problem goes away. Okay, so it could be that. It's not going to be any of these icons. These are all just PNG files. No. Unlikely. Doubtful. Although I was getting a weird fuel station loading thing, right? Game is edit mode hide. Process. That's fine. What is going on in here? This one's kind of concerning a little bit. Oh, interesting. I don't think it would be any of those. But then there's this guy. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be any of these either. All right, so my first candidate is the editor script. Let's just make sure I'm still seeing the bug. Oops. So I definitely am seeing the bug. Let's see. Let's just return right there. Is it really just unhandled input? Okay. If you say so. So that's off now, right? No, it's still happening. Well, I mean, so it's happening even when there's no input. That's the thing. Let's reload it just to make sure. Something goofy going on there. So strange. It's like a physics field, like a force field. Look, there was a collision. it has something to do with these props, because it only seems to happen when I'm overlapping these bushes. All right, so it's not the input though. It's not that. It's not that. People, project, fuel station, fuel pod, editor. But the props weren't changed here. They were all changed back here. Hey, Leonard. Yeah, Detective Watson. Sorry I wasn't looking at the chat, guys. So, Leonard, I am trying to find a weird bug that looks like a collision or some kind of physics force field, except when I turned on debug collision shapes, there is no shape there. There's nothing there. And so I've been bisecting my Git repo, and I think I found the commit that has the bug, but I'm going to double check it right now because now I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. So I'm going to create a branch right here. And I'm going to quit out of this. And then I'm going to check this out. And then I'm going to go back in. And I'm going to see if the bug is there. And if the bug is not there, then it has to be that commit. It has to be. But maybe I did it wrong and the bug is here. No, this is fine. The bug is not here. The bug is not here. So, the bug, let me switch back to main. The bug is definitely in this commit. This is where I introduced the bug. But there's so much shit in here, it's hard for me to find it. It might be in a scene file, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got all those here too. Yeah, I mean, geez, I just have to go through them one by one, I think. It could be this project file. Like I added I named one of the classes. Right, so that's what all this nonsense is. But I also added a hotkey. I just don't think this could be the problem. Let's see. Let's delete it. Load the game. See what happens. It's just I don't think that's it, but I think the only way I'm going to find this is to be meticulous and go through everything one by one. Fortunately, I have a good test case here. Yeah, see this? See, I'm getting pushed around. I'm not giving it any inputs right here. Right. So something hinky. It's not this. Yeah, I'd be surprised too. But let's see. So it's not the project. I just can't believe it would be this. And this is too difficult to change. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with these guys because there are some people in the scene, but you know, they're a whole, like, see, this is just noise in the commit. It's not that. That is noise in the commit. It's not that. This hides the HUDs that appear on the edge of the screen when you're in edit mode. And all it does is just visually hide it. It's not that. This is some animation changes for the reactor core platforms. It's not that. This is a scene file for the rotating laser gates, and it's just noise. It's the animation frame changed. It's not that. If you hide a node, does it hide the debug collision shape? I actually don't know. It's a good question. I like where your head is at. I like the way you're thinking. Button animation. Can't be that. Laser beam. Oh, shoot. Could it be this? Possibly. So these laser beams do have a collision. And if it was misplaced somehow, maybe. Where's my notebook? I need a notebook. Notebook says maybe it's the beam script. Maybe beam script. Okay, that's a candidate. Okay, that's interesting. That's good to know. Thanks, Leonard. So that could be it, right? Like I wasn't seeing the debug shapes, but maybe it's because something was hidden. But how can you know? How can you know what it is? Is there a way to... I could have swore. Yeah, I mean, I could check the remote scene tree, but I mean, there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of objects, and I can't go through every single one to see which one is at the right position. I want to say that there's a way want to say there's a way to show debug stuff for even things that are invisible. I could have swore I've seen something along these lines where you could have Godot, like you put in a little bit of script and it shows everything, even if it's hidden. Well, I'll keep looking for that if I need to. I'm hopeful that I can find something obvious that will burst out at me. It might be this. It might be that. We'll see. So fuel HUD, that's noise. It's not that. Fuel HUD script. It just can't be that. It couldn't possibly be. If it was that, I'm going to give up. What is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, it can't be that. And now it's not going to be any of these PNG files. Visible equals true. It's interesting. So if I load the editor, save dialog is not visible. Why does it say visible equals true if it's not visible? Oh, because it was, well, but I'm comparing, this is the difference between the working tree. If I turn this on, it's still not visible. Let me look at that diff again. Oh, this is compared with the last version, not the. Okay. It's comparing the commit with the previous version, not with the working tree. Okay. Anyway, I don't think it's not going to be that. Could it be this? No, couldn't possibly be. More editor stuff. Editor. Picture. Can't be any of those. Already checked those. Could it be this? No, that's just noise. It might be this. The 6 stages of debugging? No, I would love to see that. Let's see. 6 stages of debugging. That can't happen. Doesn't happen on my machine. Oh, that shouldn't happen on my machine. Why does that happen? Oh. Yeah, that's how I feel right now. Except I'm still at step 1. I should print this out for my wall. All right, maybe, so notebook time, maybe it's the editor script. Maybe editor script, because this editor script is doing a ton of stuff. There's a bunch of changes in here. I gave it a class name. I moved this entity list someplace else. I removed a method that I don't use anymore. Boy, my memory's working great right now. So, see, if I'd done these things more atomically, right? Like moved this and made a commit. Moved this and made a commit. This bug would be a lot easier to find because I'd hopefully be looking finally at a commit with like one tiny change in it. I removed this input. And I moved all of it into unhandled input. Right? This is the previous version. This is the version of the commit. What else did I do? What is this? Added some panning controls. But that's only middle click, and I wasn't doing any inputs. The bug was happening without input. So it's not going to be any of this stuff. I wasn't touching the controls. I wonder, it might be some of this. I had to change the way I'm loading resources from the level file. And if those resources aren't loading correctly, if the resources aren't loading correctly and being put in the wrong spots or something hinky going on there, this could definitely cause the problem. Yes, I'm thinking it's this. There's some bug here. All right, and what is this? Clearing the selection. Never write in a level editor, guys. Lesson learned. Wisdom from a person going through pain. Never write a level editor. Never write a level editor. Yeah, it's not going to be this stuff. Place object. It's fine. Let's do this. Let's go through what is happening here. Yeah, let's look at that. So in the editor, right, I'm going to break right here. And then let's load that level and see what it's doing as it's loading this stuff. And I'm hoping we're going to find it loading something impossible. Right, so resource should have something in it, a rock. Okay, it's loading the rock. Fine. Then it loads another rock. Then it loads the player's spawn position. Let's put the thing right here. So it tried to load the player spawn, and it did. Tried to load the reactor core platform, and it did. Generator, yes. Beacon, yes. Pickup, yes. Coin, fuel station, grass, grass. So much grass. So many grass. But they're all loading. Building, a rock. So many rock and building. A person. A dialogue event. What just happened? Coin. Enemy. A rock. A more grass. Another grass. Some more grass. Many grass. Maybe? Hey, Tiny Big Games. I'm trying to track down a bug, and I know it's in this commit. But I don't know where in the commit it is, because the commit, turns out, it's gigantic. It's a gigantic commit. I played myself. Past me pulled a hilarious prank on current me by making a gigantic commit with just tons of stuff in it, and one of those things broke the game. My thought is that maybe I'm not loading stuff correctly, but Leonard just pointed out, yeah, I wouldn't be able to instance things if the resource wasn't right. So what we're going to find here is that these all load perfectly fine. Loading rocks, loading grass. So many props. And once they all load, we're going to go back and see if the bug is happening with this freshly loaded data. And if it is, then we will look elsewhere for the problem. Yeah, I'll show it to you guys in just a second. I don't know exactly what the bug is. That's part of the problem. I can see it, but what happens is the ship is being affected by something. It looks like it's being pushed around by something or colliding with something that isn't there. It doesn't show up on debug collision shapes. It's not a hard collision. Like, it's not something you bounce off of. You can fly through it. But then sometimes it'll just give the ship a push. Now I'm thinking maybe it's something in these props. But the props didn't change. The props didn't change in this commit. Man, there's a bunch of stuff in this level. I mean, maybe. It does kind of look like a force field, And the timing of it makes it seem like, you know, like one of my vents pushing you, or a gravity field in reverse, or something like that. It does feel kind of like that. Oh, did it finish? Yeah, it loaded it. Okay, so it loaded the whole level. I didn't see anything weird. Everything seemed to work fine. So did you see how the ship went up right there? So like, look. See that? There was no thrust, right? It bounced off of something right there, but there's nothing there to bounce off of. What the heck was that? So look, I can fly through whatever's here. But it pushed me again. And then I just hit something. Look at that. I hit something. What did I just hit? I'm hitting something that's not there. But look, my bullets are hitting it. Whatever it is. It's making this sound like I'm hitting a wall. It's almost like the geometry for this wall is in the wrong spot. Like the visual and the collision shape for the wall might be... What the heck? Look at... It's acting like a freaking Ouija board. But look, I can fly through whatever's pushing me. Like there's nothing there. I can fly through it. Alright. Let's turn off this breakpoint. And then I'm going to remove all this grass. Let's see if it goes away when the grass is gone. Because maybe it is something with these props and how they're interacting with something else, you know? Maybe the props didn't have to change, but maybe something else is interacting with the props in a way that makes it do this. Like I can't even shoot that guy. Something in front of him. Wild. Alright, so it's not the grass. It's not the props. It's not the props. And it's more than just bouncing off of something. I'm getting more energy. Something's actively pushing the ship. Let's try deleting the turrets. Maybe it's something the turrets are doing. Such a weird motion too. It's not just up and down. It's like affecting it side to side. It's actually pretty complex motion here going on. So it's not the turrets. Maybe it's the walls. just hit something. Oh. The game thinks when you're not near a piece of rock, it thinks you're outside the combat zone. And it ends the level. Yeah, I'm just hitting stuff that's not there. Let's remove this. Let's see if it's the lasers. Nope. See you, dude. I think I'm hitting something right there. Something small right there I'm hitting. Let's try and get this down. Let's just blow up this level and get it down to a minimal set of entities. And still be able to see the problem. Delete that, put you, delete you, delete you, delete you, delete you, delete you, delete you. I need to put like a rectangle lasso select in here at some point. This obviously isn't something I normally do, but it would be useful right now. I feel like I'm gardening right now. Man, I didn't realize there's so much junk in here. My level designer, he just went nuts with that stuff. Let's see if we can still get the bug to happen. Back to the combat zone. Yeah, I'm still hitting something. Right, there's something there. Something kind of big. I mean, kind of small. Unusual. Oh. I'm gonna respawn in a sec. Do 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 do. Something right there. Okay. What? Invisible fuel right here. Let's delete you. Delete you. There's like nothing else here. Yeah, let's check the remote tree. Good idea. All right, there's something there. That's all the animated numbers floating up on the screen. Here's the level. Some asteroids in the level. But they're all visible. Right? Visible. Visible. Visible, right? They're all good. There's the one wall. There is no fuel station anywhere in here. This is the editor stuff. Could it be you? No, because it doesn't collide with anything. And it's not going to be any of this UI stuff. It's all hidden. It's not going to be this, I don't think, is it? Crosshair raycast. But a crosshair raycast doesn't impart any forces on anything. And the script for it doesn't do anything. Let me kill the game, reload this level from scratch, and see if the problem is still happening. Yes. The only thing that gives fuel like that is the fuel station. This guy. So it has to be... Right, it has to be going through here. Right, it is. So it thinks there's a fuel station in the game. Let me check if anything is using fuel station GD. What are you doing? Why is it taking so long? Okay. Only the fuel station uses that script. Can I print the path of what? I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I could. Let's see. That's okay. I see what you're. Yeah. Okay. Leonard. Leonard. It shouldn't be here. The invisible fuel station shouldn't be here. It's a leftover. Oh, come on. It's a leftover. I know what it is. Leonard. All right, so when you're in the game and you're in the editor, look what happens, right? Like I want to add an object to the game, right? Well, look. That fuel station right in the middle, that's a real fuel station. It exists. It's the actual game object. It's not just a pretty picture. And somehow it's in the game. It's in the game. All of these things are in the game. All of them are in the game. I don't delete them. Yes, that's exactly what it is. So that's the object dialog. And when it's added to the game, it loads all these entities, creates buttons for everything, then it hides itself. And when it's visible, when it becomes visible, it creates the actual objects that it's going to need, right? These previews. And it appends them as the actual object. It appends them here. I could But what I think I want to do is, first of all, what I want to do, here's what I'm going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is have this do nothing. And see if the problem goes away. Let's... What call is this? Add preview. Let's do that. Okay. Let's do that. Load our level. Problem's gone, right? Problem's gone. Let me load up the original level data. Revert the level. So now this should be smooth as butter. Kill, kill, kill. And no weird collisions. Because I turned off those object previews, which were the actual objects that were just still hanging out in the game, even though you couldn't see them. And they... yeah, perfect. And the reason that it happened right here in this area is because this must be like 0, 0. This is the 0, 0 coordinate for this level. It's like right around here somewhere. And the objects are all slightly different shapes and sizes, so they just act a little different, you know. The collision was weird. Okay, that fixed it. So, Leonard, you're my hero. Yeah, I mean, what I think I want to do is destroy them all. Well, or I'm not sure. You can pop up the dialog chooser. It appears. Before it even appears, it loads and caches all the data. Then when it appears, it shows them, and when it hides them, it goes away. So I could just destroy them all each time it hid them away. But that's going to cause a little bit of jank. There's going to be like a slight delay every time you try to add an object to the screen, that can be annoying. That's why I was caching it in the first place. I could also destroy all of the objects when the level editor is closed. When the level editor is closed, it could just destroy them all. That's not a terrible idea. I have some code already in the game that destroys transient objects. And I don't know why, but I'm actually removing this transient group from the objects as they're brought in. I'm not sure if I really want to do that, because what I could do is actually add them all to the transient group, and then when the game switches to play mode, it would delete them all. Oh, well. Yeah. Let's see what happens here. Because none of those are actually none of these are actually transient. So I don't know why I even have that code there. I need a new icon for my water blobs. And I want the water blobs to be bigger. Hold on, let me just take care of that real quick while I'm doing something else. Okay, so, I mean, commenting out that transient code didn't change the way the editor works. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that big boy. So I could actually say, I could do the opposite of this. Is that the right syntax? And then when it switches back to gameplay, it'll delete all of these. That's going to cause another bug, but let's just tackle one thing at a time. I just want to see if this works. This will destroy the cache, but whatever. Right? That worked. Right? They're not there. They're deleted. And I can check the remote tree under object dialog. Got all my buttons. And yeah, but none of the previews are here. So now when I go to editor, yeah, and that crashes because it thinks the preview's there, but it's gone because it was transient and it got deleted and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so conceptually, removing those previews fixes it. What I could do, you know what, here's what I'm going to do. All right, I have a plan. I have a plan. What I'm going to do is not change this code because no, I'm going to delete it. I'm just going to be brave and delete it because I don't think I need it. But what I'm going to do is instead of on ready, this function is really build cache. Okay, this is building a cache, all the objects in the game and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, when the visibility of the object dialog changes, if I'm not in the editor, then let's clear the cache. Okay. Otherwise, let's build the cache again. And then, so clear cache is going to do You know what they say about programming? The two hardest problems in programming are naming things and cache invalidation. And I gotta say, I'm not sure exactly what they were meant or what their context was for that, but I believe it. Like, every time I add a cache to something, it causes me trouble. And every time I go to name something, I always name it wrong. I need to rename it later. It's a pain in the neck. So clearing the cache, I want to go through both of these. These are my cache arrays. So I want to say for O in preview, T in preview. See? Naming problem. I went O for object, and now I'm going T for temp. For T in preview, T dot free. For let's do Q free. And then for T in icons, right? T dot Q free. And then we'll say preview equals that and icons equals that, right? Cache is clean. And then the build cache only builds it if it's empty. So I can call build cache all day, but it's only going to build it once until it's been cleared. So it'll clear it when this visibility of this thing changes, like if it's hidden and I'm not in the editor anymore. I'm not sure this is right. This isn't right. Because you can hide the visibility of the object dialog without leaving the editor. And then later, if you leave the editor, the visibility didn't change. It actually got destroyed. I want to say... I kind of wish I'd put more forethought into this a little bit. Like what I think I want here is I want a signal from the editor to all of its components saying, hey, the editor is going away now. And then each of those components can do something when the editor goes away. Local tree. So this script, right, this editor would have a signal. Watch, I already have one. Open and closed. Oh crap, do I actually already have one? I do. I already do. Ah! All right, so that's good. So I can say here, I can say when the editor is closed, call on editor closed in object dialog. Okay? And then in object dialog on editor closed, I can do clear cache. Look at that. I think Past Me did something right. Right? So when the editor is closed, it emits a signal. I connected that signal to the object dialog. The object dialog clears the cache, which takes all of the objects that it created for the previews and the icons for the object dialog and just erases them. They're gone. And then the next time the editor comes back and you open the object dialog, it tries rebuilding the cache again before it does anything. Guys, I have a good feeling. I have a good feeling. blow up some aliens. Nope, it didn't work. Didn't work. Is this signal actually connected? Editor, signal, object dialog, on editor closed, clear cache. Am I not getting called? Oh. It wouldn't have been called the first time, right? Because the editor was never opened in the first place. Yeah, let's do this. So the visibility is changing here. This is where a little weirdness happens. This visibility changed. It happens constantly, and sometimes Godot will call it multiple times. So even when this thing got added to the tree, it built the cache, but then it hid itself right away, and then you never exited the editor because you never really entered it. So I think you're right. I do need to add a another signal here. My open signal should also go here. And that should go build cache. And now it should work. Now it's much more explicit. When the editor's opened, it builds it. When the editor's closed, it clears it. And that won't happen on the initial run. Neither of those will happen on the initial run. Right? This is just loading the game. But there is some visibility changes happening in the editor, but the editor's never open, it's never closed. Those objects should be not even there. Oh, but it is there. It's still there. Look at it, it's still pushing me around. Okay, there's the bug. But now if I enter the editor, exit the editor, there's the cache getting cleared. Oh, I know what it is. Shoot. It's because I put a build cache here and ready. Now it's going to work. Now it's going to work. Oh, look at Leonard. You're like 2 steps ahead of me. Can I hire you, Leonard? I think you're a better programmer than me. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. The bug is gone. And if I go into the editor, I can still add things. Like I can add a nice little water blob right here. I can show you guys my water blob. All y'all who came late. Ah! Alright, but the bug is gone. Yeah, the bug is gone. Alright, check that out. Sploosh. 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 Turns it into fizzy water when you shoot it. And they're semi-transparent. You can like put them over stuff. See that? Kind of blurs out the stuff that's behind it. They can overlap a little bit. When they run into things, you can see them jiggle. Oh, look, it leaves its little splashes behind. They can overlap each other. All right. So, now watch. Did I do this in the wrong commit? No, I did it in main. Okay, good, 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 good. All right, so what did I change? I fixed this guy, right? Added the build cache and clear cache, and then added these, deleted that, and added these signal catchers, right? Clear cache, build cache. And then the editor added connections to those signals. And then in the game, oh, I just changed this water blob scale. This is the scale for the preview. And I'm going to throw this away because it's not a level data problem. Fixed weird collision bug caused by new object dialog. Oops. Why did that come back? Didn't I throw you away? All right, so I got that, that, and that. All right. Oh my goodness. Oh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are, that was a huge help. And Leonard, you're my VIP right now. Crushed it. All right, I can get rid of this branch. Get rid of this branch. So for those of you that weren't watching earlier, and for people maybe watching later on the YouTube, by having everything in source control like this, I was able to isolate the exact commit that caused the bug. And what I did was I just went back to, here's my entire history of the game, right? Went back to an old commit where the error wasn't happening, found a commit that where it wasn't happening. This happens to be a build that I did. Created a new branch right there, just verified the bug wasn't happening in that build. Then moved up about halfway, created a branch there, and if the bug was happening here, then I know it happened somewhere between that commit and that previous commit. Go halfway in there, create a branch, test that branch, right? So you get, by creating these branches at any point in your history, you can get a fully working copy of your game at that exact point in time. And then you keep searching that way, cutting in half, until you find the exact commit that caused the error. The first commit where the error starts to happen. So to do that, you just need source control, and you need a bug that you can reproduce. You have to have a way to reproduce the bug. Given those two things, you can isolate it right down pretty quickly to the exact commit. And then if you keep your commits small, I didn't do that in this case, but if you keep your commits small and keep them to one thing, then the error should just pop out at you. It's very obvious because only a few lines of code changed. You know it has to be one of those lines of codes that changed, and then you fix the problem. My problem here was my commit was too big, and so it just took too long to find the actual error. All right. All right. That was excellent. I wanted to, oh, and we found the 6 stages of debugging. That can't happen. It doesn't happen here. Shouldn't happen. Dang it. Why does that happen? And then we got to, oh, I see. Leonard found it. Oh, I see. He's like, do a print statement. I was like, oh, I literally did that. Yeah. Yeah. Very, 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 very true. Oh, I wanted to bring up my Trello. So we did this, and I don't think I'm going to fix this. But we also fixed a bug. We fixed a massive bug. I'm just going to write it down just to have it. Just for the history. I earned it. I earned this bug. I earned that. God, there was something I wanted to do. We did the splooshes. Let me show you guys the splooshes again, because maybe that'll jog my memory a little bit. So we've got, oh, I want to create an icon. That's one thing. What is going on there? That's weird. That particle system's acting strange. It's fine there. That's weird. All right. So these guys are going to be part of the ice world, the ice biome. And it's like, I mean, imagine, let me do this. Let me go to my test level. So you're in this icy world, right? Everything's made of ice. But maybe, you know, the sun shines on it every once in a while. It melts some of the ice. Right? You got all these icy weird plants and these icy rocks. And, you know, the sun comes around and it melts some of the ice and it turns into these water blobs. And the water blobs are very kind of viscous and hard to fly through. You use a lot of fuel. It's hard to see stuff going on in there. And they're splooshy and splashy. It's like carbonated soda when I do that. Very happy. Very happy with that. Sploosh. Let's get you. Get in the water. Oh. Come here. Get in the water. Ah, I love that. All right, so let's do a quick icon. What size are my icons? I wonder. Game editor icons. 64 by 64. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Water-filled caves. Yeah. All right, so let's do, I need 64 by 64. So let's take this frame and we'll just create a new icon, paste it, and then we'll shrink it to 64 by 64. And then I think I want to take, let's see, where's ice rocks? Yeah, so all my icons are 3 colors. So this one I want to do 3 colors as well. And right now it's got too many. So let's do that to it. No. Let's do, actually, is that okay? Let's see how it looks. Let's call this water blob icon. And then in the editor, I have some data here for all this stuff. It's water blob. PNG, right? I keep skipping my quick load. All right, so it doesn't quite fit. I think what I'm going to do here is I need to change it to gray. Yeah, I'm going to change it to that gray with just a hint of the blue showing. This dark gray. I should do this. That becomes that. And then that becomes that. Let's try that for an icon. Yeah, that's better. That'll do. Got my ice rocks, buildings, space grass, ice flowers, water. Let's call that ice water. Ice water. Thusly. Didn't rename it. Ice water. And see how it pops up instantly? Instantly, right? As soon as you can hear the click of my keyboard, right? So that's hitting the space bar. Instant. Because it caches it, you know, when the editor's opened. So they're always there. It doesn't have to keep reloading these things until you exit the editor. And then as soon as you come back into the editor, it recaches it. Just to make that nice and speedy. I know why. I know why this is showing those weird particle systems. So those particles are animated particles using the texture atlas. It's a sprite sheet, right? It's like a 3x4 sprite sheet of the blobs. All these little bits inside there. But it shows up like that because the whole sprite is being there's a shader being changed on the sprite, and the problem with that is that the water blob particles already have a shader on them, and that shader is what's doing the animation. This canvas item shader does the particle animation, and so if you replace it with that other shader, if you replace it with that other shader, then you end up with the animation not working correctly. And I thought I had something in here that turned off particle systems. But maybe not. Oh, and actually maybe that would be in here. I call it the ghost shader. But I can't find it. Oh, it's not in there. It's in here. Make ghost. So if it finds a particle as 2D, it just frees it. Oh, if it's this, okay. Let's do something like that. It's fine. There's going to be a lot of code like this that's not super pretty. Let's do that. Water blob has a particles 2D, and in the editor, I'm going to say delete particle system from water blobs. Is that in fact what I call it? Prop water blob. Oh, I didn't have to move it. Just put you back. All right, now when I load this, the ghost preview shouldn't have those particles. Right? They don't. And then when you place it, the placed copy does have the particles. That's not a bad idea, Leonard. Making it an option. It's not a bad idea. That would allow me to keep this code. I could delete some of this code, right? It would be like check the option, do something. Then I have to maintain the JSON structure. I'm going to leave it like this for now. If I add a third one of these, then yeah, I'll probably do it. But right now I've only got two, and I don't have, and in fact on this one I don't even really need to do it. But this one I do, just because it's the only entity in the game I have that has animated particles. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Commit, commit. Bop. This is the new icon. Discard you. Discard you. Discard you. No, keep you. Okay. Added water, ice, water icon to the level editor. Boom. All right. still feel like there was something else I wanted to accomplish today. Well, I mean, let's recap it. Fixed a big bug. Finished my water splooshes. And I'll put up a YouTube with a like summary of all the effects work that went into that, so you guys can see how all that's layered together. Added this right click right here as the splash screen is appearing. If you're using the editor, if you're using the Godot editor to build the game, to launch the game, which is just me, and you right click on the splash screen, it goes right to my test level. That'll be a nice convenience and time-saving thing. Added an icon for the water blob. Yeah, I mean, it was a good day. And I'll probably, I mean, I did this 3D thing again. I was talking about this earlier. I don't think I'm going to do another video on this, but this is basically a 3D to 2D workflow. This in Blender becomes this in Sprite. And I did another video on this topic. It's a couple YouTube videos ago. It was one of the devlogs. It was like a 10-minute devlog, so you can search for it if you're curious about it. Same technique here. Pretty simple. Yeah, so I think that's going to cover it for today, guys. Thanks, everybody, for dropping in. It was great hanging out with you. And thanks for helping me talk through these problems that I've been having. And I'll see you again soon. In the meantime, if you haven't heard of Gravity Ace, please go to gravityace.com. Gravityace.com is where you can find out everything about the game. Follow me on Twitter. Come to our Discord. The game is available now in early access right now. So please tell everybody you know to go wishlist it or buy a copy. And we'll see you again soon. Thanks for dropping in, everybody.